Hi, my dear Astro family. Today, I want to talk to you about Uranus going direct, and that's going to be taking place on the 27th of January. Usually, to be honest, I do not get excited when a outer planet goes direct, or I would not make a video about it. And one of the reasons why I wouldn't do that is because that's great. Half a year, an outer planet, retrograde motion, and half a year, it's approximately direct. So I don't see that it should be a big fuss. However, if it makes a special configuration in the chart, then maybe it grabs my attention and then I want to make a video about it. And actually, this is the case now. So Uranus is going direct on 19th degree of Taurus, while actually it's making an exact quincunx to the South Node. So I thought this might be actually very interesting and it's worthy for a video, and maybe it's going to be very useful as well for many of you. So let's just talk about this a little bit. So before we do that, actually, I've got a couple of very interesting courses or webinars that are coming up. And one of them is going to be connected to Lilith. I think Lilith is quite a fascinating one, especially when it comes to our psychological makeup. So I'm going to be doing a Lilith course, and that's going to be talking to you about anything you need to know about Lilith. So we're going to be looking at it, psychological concept. We're going to be looking at Lilith in the signs, Lilith in aspects. So this is going to be a bit a bigger one, but I'm going to do an ultimate guide on the 12th house as well. Now that's going to be a longer one. It's going to be 6 classes. We're going to be looking at what the 12th house represents. We're going to be looking at the signs on the 12th house cusp, and we're going to be looking at planets, asteroids, or nodes in the 12th house as well. So this course should make you fully professional on how to use 12th house and the Lilith as well. So if you are interested in these, check them out. But anyway, let's get going in regards to Uranus going direct. So Uranus and the South Node will be in Quincunx exactly on the 22nd of January. They have been within orb for about 3 weeks now, and actually going to be separating from each other around the 15th of February. So that's when they're going to be 2 degrees apart. Now, but the exact one is happening on January 22nd. As I said, usually I would not make a video about this, but I think it's a very significant one because an exact quincunx is a very important aspect, in my opinion, in the chart. By the way, I'm going to be making a webinar about quincunx as well in regards to how it relates to medical matters. Why? Because quincunx is a 150-degree aspect, and the aspect usually originates from the meaning of the sign. Now, the quincunx is connected to Virgo or Scorpionic traits, depending on whether we are talking about an opening quincunx or a closing quincunx. So to give you an example, for example, if you have got an opening square in your chart, that might be connected more to do with Cancer, but a closing square is going to be connected more to do with Capricorn matters in your life. So the quincunx is always going to be Virgo or Scorpionic traits. Now just think about what Virgo is. I mean, it's about health, routines, annoying habits, patterns, what we tend to be doing. But with Virgo, we want to make improvements as well. But the improvements usually are a little bit slowed down, not coming as fast as we want to. Virgo is the night expression of Mercury, so it's less to do with thinking as well, but this is more to do with information gathered within the soul. So internal communication, I tend to call Virgo as. And then Scorpio is about trauma and emotional healing. Now, I feel like what Uranus actually does here is that it is trying to speed the process up of letting go of something, letting go of a trauma, letting go of a financial situation, for example. But this Uranus might want us to let go of old habits, changing annoying situations to kind of break out of them, closing them off, being rebellious about these annoying people or situations and telling them, listen, I'm fed up, I'm walking away, or I'm going to say something that I will regret. So you become somehow rebellious. So ask yourself the question, is there any situation that annoys you? What improvements do you want to make, especially in regards to your habits or even self-limiting patterns or health choices? So obviously, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, which is so much connected to food industry. So you might want to be making more of a healthier choice, or you might want to be making more of a financial choice as well. Now, Uranus can be hurtful. So I feel like this Quincunx, which, as I said, could be the representation of medical matters in our chart as well, often is internal. But with Uranus, you know what? We can have a great intuition and that it hits us on the head. But this hitting is not always that pleasant. So it can hit us on the head, it can hurt. So I kind of feel like we've got a bit of a headache going on with this aspect. Maybe some type of physical pain. Why do I think there might be headache involved or migraine? Because obviously Uranus is making a quincunx to Libra, but we've got the North Node in Aries in quite a tight conjunction to Chiron. And Chiron is the planet of pain. Aries is associated with headache. So we are trying to move forward. We are trying to integrate a stronger personality, but it hurts somehow because something needs to go as well at the same time. So I would say that this is an indication that we are meant to be focusing on self-healing, but we might be way too occupied of meeting someone's demands. Uranus is trying to move them out of your way. Is anyone trying to limit you? How are you going to free yourself up from the past? Because the South Node often comes from the past. I do not like, we did this little activity yesterday on my Facebook group, and I really loved it actually, because I asked people what would be 3 things, or what would be something that you would delete from the astrological dictionary. And I said, I would delete, for example, that the planets are bad or good, especially when it comes to such planets as Saturn or Mars. And someone said, I would delete that South Node is something we need to leave behind because actually it might be a talent point. And I completely agree with that. I do not think that South Node needs to be left behind. We just need to kind of temper it a little bit. We need to use it for our own advantage, but we need to make sure we don't get stuck in that area and we improve the other side of that the other side of the coin as well, which would be the North Node. But we do that through the lenses of our South Node. So because South Node is in the sign of Libra, that is so much connected to negotiation. So we need to negotiate about our freedom, Uranus, with someone, Libra, so that we can have individual experiences. And that would be North Node in the sign of Aries. Now, remember that Uranus is going stationary direct on the 27th, but it's already stationary around the 22nd, when actually the exact in conjunction is happening. Now, stationary planets, I want to talk about them as well a little bit. Because even though what I said to you, that this is going to last approximately till about 15th of February, but we tend to feel the stationary aspects, the exact one, a lot longer. So we've got two types of stationary planets, the stationary direct or the stationary retrograde. We should be differentiating them a little bit different. So a stationary retrograde is a little bit more to do with reflection, kind of like a stop sign on the road, or imagine that you are going on the road and you're driving and then all of a sudden you run into kind of like a roadblock. So you're going to have to kind of turn around, you get diverted somehow, and you're going to have to be retracing your steps. So I think this should be explaining what a stationary retrograde indicates. Now, by the way, depending on what type of astrology we do, they tend to be having a different approach to stationary planet. So traditional astrology says that stationary planets are malefic and weakening the planets. Ptolemy actually says that the planet will rise to their potential and they tend to be a lot more powerful. Horary would be an indication that stationary planet indicates that things will unfold very slowly, or things will not go as they have been planned, and there is going to be further development. But it's being at the standstill at the moment. And Aaron Sullivan says that unable to express the energy of the planet or never satisfied with that planetary energy, being obsessive about something, being extremely dedicated to that planet. And to be frank, the malefic one, it's not something I've experienced. I think these planets are a lot stronger, but often they are at a standstill. Now, when a planet is stationary direct, then what I would say is that you are slowed down, you are so eager to move forward from that roadblock, but they are still stopping you. So there is something that is urging you to act on something. You don't want to be staying in the limbo anymore. You are ready to push the gas pedal, but you cannot just yet. So you need to learn a bit more patience. Of course, this is about bumping into some type of frustration. We might see something, it's kind of like a chase in a car type of thing. And one is just going ahead, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, a train is coming in between you and another car, and then you cannot go further. So you are stopped for a little bit before you go on a new venture. And this is how I would explain the stationary direct. So that would be the stationary element. Now, a planet tends, anyway, we can talk about the stationary planets quite a lot, but let me not go into that, okay? So I also feel like that this Uranus is very much about kind of like telling you, I'm daring you to change. I dare you. And because it has got that in conjunction to Libra, which is about fairness. So it might be telling you, listen, fairness never took you anywhere. So now be a little bit more egotistical. Most likely Uranus says, you don't need to be that fair. Just think about yourself. Remember that with Uranus, usually it comes with disruption. And so it might be bringing disruption, of course, in the Taurian part of our chart. So Taurus is about self-worth, money, our assets, but banking as well, or our saving accounts and earnings as well. So do you allow someone to use your assets, to use your money? Because then Uranus might want to prompt you to say no to it. Why do I have to do a favor for someone? Why do they expect that, I don't know, something is just free of charge? Because it's telling you that nothing is free anymore in this world. Everything costs money. By the way, something is in regards to the justice system because there is an asteroid sitting on Uranus, and that's Justitia or Justitia. And its astrological number is 269, if you want to look that up. And you know what? Justitia is actually about rules, court cases, the Supreme Court. In mythology, she was blinded to be able to make a judgment, a better judgment, without being biased about something. So it's a little bit of a Libra type of energy where we're gonna have to basically make a decision. So this might be bringing up, for example, a situation where you know what, you know that you're not gonna make the right choice, or maybe you know that you're gonna not make the right judgment, but this time around you have to be taking care of yourself. Now remember that Uranus goes retrograde for about 5 months. So therefore, and then Uranus started so to give you the dates, maybe I should have given you some dates. So Uranus entered retrograde shadow zone around May 12th, 2023. So you might want to think about what was going on in your life the first couple of weeks of May, maybe, or the entire May, because that's where Uranus is going to be. So going to be going back into that point. And then Uranus went retrograde on 23 degree of Taurus on the 28th of August. And then, of course, now Uranus will be stationing on 19 degree of Taurus again, and then we'll be leaving the retrograde shadow zone on May 12, 2024. So this is an entire window. So then after 2024, May 12, you know what? Uranus will be stepping onto unfamiliar territories because it's going to be hitting the 2306, and Uranus hasn't been there for about 84 years. So that would be kind of like a little bit of an exciting period for us, right? So these would be the dates. So are you brave enough to do something? Are you brave enough to get going? Are you ready to embrace your uniqueness? Uranus also tells you that it's time to be unapologetically you. Yes, maybe Uranus in the sign of Taurus is shaking up your stability a little bit. Uranus is associated with awakening. It is challenging you to reconsider your values and then how you look at changes, whether you welcome changes into your life or whether it kind of messes you up and then kind of you feel like there is so much chaos going on in your life. So this Uranus might be telling you to be more open to new financial strategies. It is telling you to innovate somehow, to update something in your life, maybe update your security system, right? But also how you're going to achieve security in your life. I'm sure Uranus always wants us to be a little bit more flexible, more adaptable. So it is wanting you to stop being stubborn about something. And then I feel like that Uranus should be working extremely well. There shouldn't be any problems. And some final thoughts, maybe it's going to be bringing some wild changes when it comes to how we generate wealth or in the arena of finances. But maybe what we believe it's stable is unfortunately not going to be as stable anymore. So when it comes to the stable, like let's say that Apple is stable, So what was once stable may suddenly go through an element of revolution, and it's going to take us by surprise. So guys, this is my very short, brief analysis on this Uranus retrograde. I hope this helps and see you soon. Bye-bye.